clarity from the Minister as to how they plan on dealing with such issues. She joins me now, Minister Angie Motshekga. Thank you so much for your time. Now, let's start off with the issue, of course, of the overcrowding that some parents could be quite concerned about going into tomorrow with all learners back from tomorrow.
No, thank you very much. Overcrowding and infrastructure challenges are problems we went to COVID with, and now we're coming back now with COVID on those challenges. We've tried during the period, the last 2 years, to add infrastructure, to bring mobile classrooms, because whilst we had this rotational program, we did want to, or wish to have all our learners back. So in the meantime, we did deploy quite a number of mobile classes. In some provinces, they built a number of classrooms, but we can also admit that we will still go back to the system tomorrow with the problems. So we are very sensitive to it. We are in discussions with Treasury, also through the presidency, just to see how we even fast-track the resolution of our infrastructure challenges. But what we've agreed with provinces is that they have to do whatever it takes in their spaces to make sure that all learners do come back tomorrow, and they use whatever is possible in the environment to have a safe environment. It could be that in some instances, if it's really impossible to have all of them back in class in the context of COVID, they can platoon. But bottom line, children have to be back tomorrow, Monday to Friday, for the duration of the teaching hours, to enable us to recover. So they might have to use their libraries, they might have to use even open spaces outside. But what we are saying, they have to come back. They have to use their extra rooms, but they have to find space which allows us safety, but on the other hand also enables us to have all the learners back to school tomorrow.
Now, Minister, we do know you've mentioned now the issue of platooning. So provinces actually still, or schools, have got the possibility to actually rotate if it's absolutely needed, or not at all?
Yeah. We said no rotation. They must come to school every day. Platoon, it means they come every day. It might be that school starts at 7, finishes at 5, but no rotation. Of weekly, coming this week, next week, no, we said no rotation at all.
Now, we do know that there are obviously the concerns around how teachers might be able to handle this younger ones specifically. They have been coming to school, most of them, but with a fuller class, do you think that there are concerns from teachers' point of view when you're having a conversation with teacher unions?
No, fortunately, if you recall, last year in November, we had already made the request, or made an approach to Cabinet that we'd like to bring all our primary school learners back. Almost 80% of our schools were able to do it because we were given a reduced space. But 20% of our schools could not do it. And then later in November, Cabinet gave us permission for the primary schools to remove the social distancing. But it was exactly on at the height of Omicron. And we just felt that with Omicron, with those numbers, we can't bring them back. So in a way, schools are ready for learners, especially the small ones. Primary schools have been ready from last year.
Let's now talk, Minister, the issue of vaccination. What happens with the teachers that at the moment don't want to actually take the vaccine at all?
We had lengthy discussions with your parents' associations, your SGBs, and also their teacher unions. And we want to, because we're waiting for the presidential task team on vaccine mandates, to say we do want a mandate. It not be mandatory. People should not be forced to vaccinate, but there must be a mandate which says if you are in the education space, you cannot be in our space if you are not vaccinated. Because if we bring everybody else, even in terms of rotation, so which means all teachers all have to go to the staff room, and we are confident that vaccines are one of the strongest weapons. You can see, we could see also from the results. In 2021, we had less disruptions, less deaths in our schools. Children were able to come back to school, unlike in 2020. So vaccines work. So on that basis, we're saying, and we want to make that recommendation to the presidential team, that there must be a vaccine mandate.
All right. What would that then entail? So you're now saying that teachers who are not vaccinated are not welcome?
It's a choice not to come to be part of the sector. It's a choice.
So you then have to now replace those teachers as well?
Yeah, because as I say, fortunately, quite a number of teachers have vaccinated. The last count was over 80%. And I'm told now that we have removed this point of comorbidities and other things, we were going towards 90%. So that 10%, we will have to understand how we are able to continue them without vaccinations and still making everybody feel safe. But the numbers are high in the sector, so we don't expect serious problems with the few that are unable to vaccinate for different reasons.
All right, thank you so much, Minister Angie Motshekga. She's the Minister of Basic Education, just speaking to us around the issues of vaccine mandates and whether it will be mandatory for teachers to actually vaccinate, and also just speaking about tomorrow as learners return back to full attendance.